verified. Priority 1 message from Starfleet coming in on secured channel.
Fly it, print it, display it. Break the mold and 3D print a one-of-a-kind starship. Your starship. With mixed dimensions. Right now, Priority 1 listeners can save 20% on all ships and sizes. Just use coupon code PRIORITY20. That's PRIORITY20 at checkout. Build your fleet and display it proudly.
Shush yourself. No, you shush. It's part of the charm.
Well, how about you?
It's a Tuesday. It's a Tuesday. It's a Tuesday. You muted yourself. You're talking about me being unprofessional. I don't know if anybody heard the part where I started talking and then Elijah called me unprofessional for talking on the radio. I don't know if anybody heard that.
Because I was trying to count us down and you're talking about some show. Is it good? Did you check it out?
Right. And this time it wasn't Guard Frequency. Yeah. This time it wasn't that one. It was a different show that you should check out.
So,
but they're not paying us to promote it, so I'm not going to say. That's Skippy's favorite show.
So I should be being heard. You should be able to hear me now.
I certainly hope everyone can. Because this is going to be an awfully discombobulated show if no one can hear you.
I got to bring down the room tone. Good grief.
Oh, I think you're coming through now.
Come in. Hot, hot, hot! Super cool!
Oh, yeah.
That was the best show I ever did.
Sorry, I was
listening
to the show because the room tone is so darn loud. All right, so Tony, welcome back to the show, man.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Welcome to me, and thank you for having me here on the show on a Tuesday.
On a Tuesday.
Tuesday.
All right,
Don't tell me.
so
Tuesday.
And Skiffy, you'll be hearing from Tony now weekly. Tony is back, and so is Skiffy. Skiffy's going to be in the in the studio as like our Ross to our Frasier. Right?
You say we're back, but were we ever really gone?
You weren't. Nobody was ever.
Weren't
really
ever
gone.
really gone.
Never
You're
really
always here.
gone. Always here.
You know who else is here? My cat and all the other people who live in my house that keep going up and down the stairs. So might have to shout at them. This is a busy time of the night at the Hunter household. People are, finishing things and
The Hunter household.
putting things away and all that kind of stuff. And of course, the cat wants to eat my couch. So,
As cats tend to do.
as cat, they like to do.
All right.
So,
shall we jump into the show?
Ready.
Who read the opening last week? I don't even remember anymore.
Is
it me or you, Kat?
Not me.
Okay, so actually, Kat, why don't you do it this week?
Okay.
All right, we're gonna jump into. Oh, actually, something I forgot to say, captains. So we are moving our live show to 9:00 Eastern. We will be going live. No, we're not. So we're not going live at 8 anymore. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. We're gonna go live at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. So hopefully that doesn't mess up with your viewing of our live show. Hopefully you'll still be able to catch us live and enjoy the shenanigans as you watch how we produce the show week to week and talk about the recap of Star Trek news in the Star Trek multiverse. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
That is all.
That is all. That's all the housekeeping we have for this episode. All right. Everybody do an audio test for themselves. Everybody
Indeed.
Comfortable that it's
Speak, cat. This is the fastest way to make him go away from me if I give him some attention.
All right.
Usually, anyway.
Oh, Skiffy, do you mind recording? Yeah.
Yep, I can do it.
Yeah, can you record on Zoom, please? Good grief. All right, I'm gonna hit the big red button, and you've got it so that it records everybody's track separately, right?
Sure. I'm pretty sure that's set by default, but here, let me do a cloud recording too, just to be safe.
That's all right. I got it on my end, I think. Oops. Yes. Did I do computer? Yeah.
What just
Isn't
happened?
this great? Isn't this great? All right, I'm gonna hit the big red button in 3, 2, 1. This is Elijah, intro sync 1.
This is Kat, intro sync 2.
This is Tony, intro sync 3.
This is Skiffy, intro sync 4.
Intro in 3, 2.
This week on Priority 1, CBS is busy Sorry, let me start over. This week on Priority 1, CBS is busy keeping the hype alive between episodes of Star Trek Picard with interviews with... Dang it. Awesome. This week... Dang it! Beep, beep. This week on Priority 1, CBS is busy keeping the hype alive between episodes of Star Trek Picard with interviews with Michelle Hurd, Evan... Oh my gosh.
You can take it from Evan.
Is it Ava Goria?
Evan Evagora.
Evagora, okay. Where was I? Oh, Michelle Hurd, Evan Evagora, and Jerry Ryan. LeVar Burton seems confident that Geordi might make an appearance. In gaming news, Star Trek Online led to don a stovepipe hat and hack away at the big baddies. We spent some time exploring the legendary Starship Bundle. Later, on screen, we share our thoughts on Star Trek Picard Episode 4, Absolute Candor.
Okay, 3, 2. Hello, Captains. You're listening to episode 449 of Priority 1, a Roddenberry Star Trek podcast, your weekly report of all the major news happening in the Star Trek multiverse. This episode was recorded live on Tuesday, February 18th, and available for download or streaming on Friday, February 21st at PriorityOnePodcast.com. I'm Elijah.
I'm Kat.
And I'm Tony. But before we jump into the news, we want to invite you to join in on the weekly conversations, whether via social media platforms like Facebook.com/Priority One Podcast on Twitter or Instagram at Priority1Pod, or by email to incoming@PriorityOnePodcast.com.
Now, Captains, usually I try to convince you to become a patron on patreon.com, but we have another way that you can support the show. For instance, we're looking to add some talented people to the group, specifically an audio editor to help. We're looking for an audio editor to help with the show and making it sound much more coherent than it does to our live audience. But we're also looking for a social media specialist, somebody that can help us maintain our pages on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and help engage with everyone else in the community. So if you are interested in joining our team, reach out to us via email to incoming@PriorityOnePodcast.com, or just hit us up on social media with a direct message. Oh, actually, no. So, Kat. Wait, who's doing Trek It Out opens with Kat? So, Tony.
Now let's check out the latest news from the Star Trek multiverse.
Everybody hit stop. All right.
Okay.
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 Now that we got that, oh man, I saved it in the wrong spot. Yeah.
Oh, you fool.
Yeah.
You naughty, naughty fool.
I put it in the wrong folder. I put it in 48 and not 49.
Look, fat man, if you can't get it right, quit doing it.
First of all, how dare you call me a fat man? I'm working on it.
Well, this is going to be a big problem, I think.
What? You don't have access to the drive?
No, my Brian voice isn't as good as it used to be.
Was it ever?
That's the problem.
Was it ever?
But your greased up deaf guy is getting
Shut
really
up.
good.
What's that?
But your greased up deaf guy is getting really good.
Yeah, and so does this guy. Everyone can get this guy pretty good.
All right.
I'm really worried about the cat.
Why?
Because he's hiding under the desk now and meowing at me, so I can't reach him. He's just going to make the little cat noises the whole time. Come chase me! No.
Well, that's what you get for playing around with the cat.
That's why you're supposed to have a laser pointer available at all times.
Oh, that would be... That, are you kidding? That would make it worse. He would never leave me alone.
I use mine to send my cat down the hallway, and then it looks down the hallway for about a half hour.
Yeah, no, that's not this one. This one knows. If I pick up the laser pointer, he starts looking at the floor. He looks up at my hand and looks at the floor. I mean, he knows what the laser pointer's for now.
Oh yeah, mine does that too. But once I send it somewhere, then they're gone.
No. He knows I am the source of the dancy red light. He knows now. We've trained him too well.
All right, I am ready for Trek It Out when you guys are.
Exported.
Cat, you good? Did you mute us?
No.
Oh.
No. Yeah, I'm good.
All right, Skiffy, you good?
I'm good.
All right, I'm gonna hit the big red button in 3, 2, 1. This is Elijah. Trek It Out, Sync 1.
This is Kat. Trek It Out, Sync 2.
This is Tony. Trek It Out. Sync 3.
This is Skiffy. Trek It Out. Sync 4.
Trek It Out in 3, 2.
Star Trek and its cultural importance is not lost on one of its newest stars, Michelle Hurd. The veteran actress who plays Rafi in Star Trek Picard understands what the iconic series means to its fans in a very personal way. During an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, the 53-year-old Hurd recalls her memories of watching the original series with her father, actor...
Sorry, take it from during.
During an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, the 53... You got me again. Dang. Hold on.
Drink.
Yeah.
I'm drinking vodka tonight.
Oh,
I'm sorry. What about the Matrix Online?
All right. During an interview with the dang it! Oh my God! Tonight's gonna be so super awesome. Sorry. During an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, the 53-year-old Heard recalls her memories of watching the original series with her father, actor Hugh Heard. Quote, "It was really important to my dad that we see ourselves represented in the arts. So literally, when I got the job, I was like, oh my God, Uhura was literally involved in the first biracial kiss ever on television, the first woman of color in a position of power on a TV show like this. So when you think about the stories that were told on the original series using aliens and sci-fi to tell stories with themes like inclusion and immigration, I absolutely acknowledge and own my role in it. I'm so excited about it." End quote. Well, that was a long quote. Heard went on to mention her joy in playing Rafi, a flawed character in an organization like Starfleet. Quote, "Not only am I a woman of color, but I can tell this..." Wait. Quote, "Not only am I a woman of color, but I can tell that story about all of us who have struggled similarly, who have some demons, and in doing so, show that not all of us are bad people. We're all out here trying to do our best. We're all human beings with stories worth telling." End quote.
So I like this interview for a couple of reasons. One, of course, is her acknowledgement that she is a person of color in a key role on a Star Trek show, which is great. And I'll get to that more shortly. Then, of course, she talks about her flaws and her demons. And, you see that visually represented in her smoking the vape and her drinking. And later on, I'm sure we'll find of other things. So first I want to ask, should we have these problems and vices in the future? Right? Is that something that we would have expected in the Gene Roddenberry universe of Star Trek? If he was in control of everything again, would he have allowed something like that? Would vices be a problem?
Sure, why not?
I think so.
They've done this. No, it's okay. And they've done this before, usually with aliens. But there's tons of Star Trek stories where someone has done something, socially unacceptable, and it's about their trip back from that. It's an alien example, but the guys who had the drugs in the first season, where they found the abandoned freighter. The guy that played David in Star Trek 3 was some alien, and they were jonesing for whatever medicine they were getting from that other planet. I mean, that was a show all about drug addiction. So I mean, it's not like this is unheard of, and maybe it's unheard of for a forcibly retired, however she got kicked out of Starfleet, person. Maybe that's a feature of being forcibly retired. But I think that it's there, and like a lot of things Picard's doing, it's acknowledging that there's more to the United Federation of Planets than we saw in the original series or on TNG.
Kat, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I think that I kind of agree with Tony. Like, I think he definitely could have considered it, but I think though maybe Gene Roddenberry wouldn't have wanted to show that necessarily, because he always wanted to show humanity idealized, but it's not beyond the realm of consideration that people still were struggling with addiction and struggling with, all of that, trying to live their lives in the future. You just never got to see it very much.
Yeah, I mean, I think back to the episode with Garrick and his withdrawal symptoms from whatever drug he was taking in DS9. That was a great episode, I think.
But that was after Gene died.
But that was after Gene died. That's true. I think that if they execute it well, I think that it could address those issues accordingly in a way that sheds light on it, doesn't idolize it or put it on a pedestal, but in fact is something that we'll see her go through a journey of. The other thing
she's done.
Yeah, you think?
She's done. Yeah. No more. There will be no more vaping and no more drinking. She's back on duty now. She's done.
The other thing I appreciated is earlier when she's talking about her role as a person of color on Star Trek, I'm thinking of myself now watching Rios. For the first time in Star Trek, I'm watching a character and going, hey, he looks like me. A light-skinned Latino or Hispanic who is playing an important role and a critical role in the ongoing story of a Star Trek arc. And I have never seen that. Even in Battlestar...
Hold on. The B'Elanna Torres doesn't count just because she had the bumpy things in her forehead?
No, that's watered down. The way I see it is that's watered down. She wasn't a Latina. She was a passionate Klingon. You know, like it wasn't any... Yeah, that was watered down. So was Chakotay, although, you know, played by a Latino actor. He was playing a homogenized Native American. And I've never seen this. The closest I've ever gotten to something like this was Battlestar Galactica with Edward James Olmos at the helm of the Galactica. Oh, well, and even then he's not a Latino. He's Caprican, or no, he's not Caprican. He's not Erelon. Something like yeah. He's one of the outer planets which were marginalized. I thought
they were from Toron.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So, yeah, I'm pleased to feel that connection in some way, to finally look at Star Trek and go, hey, look, it's someone like me. It's a Latino like me. It's a Hispanic like me. The cat agrees. Although my verdict is still out on Rios, because I'm hoping that they don't homogenize him either, right? They
can't. He's playing like 6 characters.
Well, I have a bit of a problem with that, but again, my verdict is still out on Rios as a character, because Latin American culture, Spaniard culture, they all vary. And so hopefully they're going to say, you know, they're going to identify his culture and they're going to run with it. Not that he's just this every Latino kind of guy.
Until he's Rocky. Yeah, until he starts lisping his THs like from Barcelona, he's gonna be just as homogenized as Chakotay was, because this is just plain marketing. They want to appeal to the broadest range. If they make him Cuban, they're gonna make the Venezuelans mad. If they make him Mexican, they're gonna make the Colombians angry.
I don't think we're at that point anymore. I honestly don't. I think that
he's going to be homogenized, though.
I think that maybe. And I hope not, and I really hope not. I think it would be a disservice to Star Trek to homogenize him. But again, we still have several other episodes to go, and I am cautiously optimistic on how they're going to treat Rios. And they're not going to dilute him and his Latino culture by showing him play a Irish emergency something hologram, or a Chilean tactical officer and a British emergency hospitality hologram, like all these things.
That guy wasn't Chilean, was he?
Because I was gonna say, did you identify?
Guy was hot.
Yeah, he was speaking in Spanish. Could you identify his accent?
I was talking to somebody, and yes, somebody identified it as Chilean. I was talking to.
Really?
All right.
Yeah. Well, because I actually had a really hard time understanding it. It had a strong, thick dialect. So, at first, I thought it was of Mexican origin, but and it might still be. But according to Gabby, who's a friend of ours of the show, and she's of Spaniard descent, she identified it as Chilean. So again, we'll just have to wait and see.
All right. Well, I'm a fan.
Evan Evagora. Oh wait, we don't leave the title part. Never mind. Beep beep. In Star Trek Picard, 4th episode, Absolute Candor, we're introduced to the latest edition.
No, can you take that? You said Star Trek Picard, 4th episodes. You said something
episodes. Weird. In Star Trek Picard's 4th episode, Absolute Candor, we are introduced to the latest edition of the ragtag group of rogues, the young, angsty warrior hero, Luke Skywalker. No, that should be Anakin Skywalker. The young, angsty warrior hero, Anakin Elrond. No, Elnor. Right. Elnor actor Evan Evagora sat down with Sci-Fi Wire to discuss his role on the series and how some of Trek's most important stars eased him into the franchise. Of Elnor, the young, sheltered Romulan warrior raised by a group of Romulan warrior priestesses, Evagora says, quote, "He's like a moody teenager, but every time he snaps, he has the potential to kill someone. That's how I played him. What if a moody teenager could just do whatever he wants whenever he flips out?" End quote. Evagora recalled that, much like his character Elnor, he set off on an unprecedented adventure when he left his home in Melbourne, Australia for Los Angeles, California, and like the Romulan swordsman, he had wise guides. The young actor recalled his introduction to the series lead and Hollywood icon, Sir Patrick Stewart, saying, quote, "The first time I met Patrick Stewart, I was terrified. It was the worst first meeting. And my first day of filming, I was so nervous. Patrick took me aside because he could see the nervousness in me. But it's not like he told me a story about being nervous or anything like that. He has this way of making you feel at ease. Him and Jonathan Frakes, they're very similar that way. They make you feel comfortable on the set. And when you're comfortable, you can really lose yourself in the moment and the character." End quote.
Oh, so he's Kylo Ren.
Kylo Ren!
That's what.
Nah, he's a mixed mishmash of a bunch of different things. He's an elf.
Yeah, one could say homogenized.
He's a homogenized elf.
He is legit a space elf.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be, like they're saying here, the young, raw, untrained, or I guess he's fully trained, but he's going to be book smart but not street smart, right? He's been isolated like a little monk in the wilderness, and now Picard's got to come teach him the ways of the world, and he's got to bring down his rough edges, right? Because the first thing he does is chop people's heads off when something goes wrong.
Well,
so they're going to work on him.
Well, let's save this discussion for on screen later on in the show, because he was a big part of episode 4.
Yes.
But of course, episode 4 ended in a spectacular introduction to an old friend. You see, we've been flirting with spoilers for most of Trek It Out, but we are about to drop something pretty major. So, if you haven't seen Star Trek Picard's Absolute Candor, well, fast forward a few minutes or just pause now and we'll be here when you come back. All right. You're still here. Good. All right. Absolute Candor's final and arguably most exciting reveal was the reintroduction of Absolute Candor. All right, here we go. Absolute Candor's final and arguably most exciting reveal was the reintroduction of 7 of 9. The Hollywood Reporter took the opportunity to catch up with I need to zoom. My vision's getting bad. I got to zoom into these things now.
You need broadcast glasses.
I need broadcast glasses.
We're already using.
The Hollywood Reporter took the opportunity to catch up with Seven's real-life counterpart, Jerry Ryan, to discuss what changed and what's stayed the same since her last Star Trek appearance. Ryan commented on the difference between Star Trek Voyager and Star Trek Picard, saying, quote, "The scale of these sets, the costumes, it's crazy. It's like you're doing a feature film each week. In one of my scenes where I had to go in and work on a console, we go in for the first rehearsal and I had to touch buttons and the screen actually does something. And I totally flipped out, like, oh my God, actually having buttons that work," end quote. Though Ryan is no stranger to Trek, she still had first day jitters, telling The Hollywood Reporter, quote, "My first scene, the big scene, was the one you see in the trailer when we're in his office/ready room. That was my first day on the set. It was daunting, not just because it was Patrick, but because I was still petrified, or Patrick-fied. Or if I could find the character. Oh, I see. But because I was still petrified, or Patrick-fied, of if I could find the character again. I was still trying to figure out who she was, end quote. Though she might have been petrified, another TNG alumnus helped ease her back into the role. Quote, I was so fortunate because Jonathan Frakes was directing my first episode. So with that, I knew I was in good hands. Frakes, more than anyone else, would get the importance of revisiting and being true to these characters. Because the challenge for me is, where has she been for nearly 20 years? Finding her voice was the hardest thing for me. When I read the first script, I couldn't hear her voice anymore. When I read the first script, I couldn't hear her voice anywhere, end quote. For more of Ryan's interview, like where her old Borg prosthetics ended up, check out the link in our show notes.
I don't want to say anything because you'll tell me that we have to save it for the next segment. So I want to be careful what I say. You know, and she talked about this a few months ago at the Star Trek convention, where she eventually settled on the fact that Seven's done a very good job faking being human. You know, she's underneath it. She's still all 7 of 90, but she's adapted. So now she seems more relaxed. And
I was going to say, I very much enjoyed her personality in this, that she's much more assertive and much more human. I mean, it's like she's achieved what she was striving to do on Voyager all that time ago, was regain her humanity, and she's become a normal, flawed, normal human being.
I mean, I think if I remember right, but according to Ryan, though, that's not exactly true. She just has gotten better at faking that. Like, you know, that's when she finally found her voice again.
Oh,
it's like,
I see.
It's like 7 of 9 is still the 7 of 9 from the last few seasons of Voyager, but she has adapted, right? You know, her force fields now repel phaser fire and let her drop her fork at dinner occasionally, and she knows she's supposed to do that. And wearing the hair down instead of all tighten up bun and all that kind of stuff. She knows that that's the sort of thing that's going to help her blend in better. So that I think you get a little of that in the trailers where you see her sort of marching through the bar or whatever it was with 2 rifles in her hands, blowing stuff up. That's the 7 of 9 you remember from the show, right? You know, just like walking in and like laying waste to stuff. But I think you might see that, I think, come through a little bit. She's going to act like she's, you know, more human than she was, but I think deep down she still might be the old 7.
Kat, do you have anything before I ask the community question?
We're good.
Well, that brings us to our first community question. Who is your favorite Star Trek Picard character thus far, and why? Let us know in the comments section for this episode at PriorityOnePodcast.com, or just be sure to follow us on social media like Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, because we post these community questions there every Monday.
Ooh, I was going to sneeze again.
Bless you.
All right. Is your favorite Next Generation character making an appearance on Star Trek Picard? If your favorite is Geordi LeVar Burton, has good money on it. At least that's what he told Straight.com or the Georgia Straight during a call from Vancouver's Fan Expo. Burton said, quote, Star Trek has always been one of the most positive and hopeful visions for the future of humanity, and for that reason, among others, I've always embraced it, end quote, before offering his predictions regarding a Picard/LaForge reunion. Quote, I'm not a betting man, but I would wager good money that you'll probably see all of the Next Generation cast at some point or another, just not all at the same time. Besides, I understand that Hugh Borg, Jonathan Del Arco, is a very, very... Wait. Whoops. Hold on.
You just added an A in there. It is very prominent.
Oh, okay. Besides, I understand that Hugh Borg, Jonathan Del Arco, is very, very prominent in Picard. And you know, Geordi gave him his name. I think we'll have to explore that at some point, end quote. For a link to the full interview, which includes discussion about Reading Rainbow and Roots, follow the link in our show notes.
Everybody's coming back. Guinan's coming back. Geordie's coming back. Now, who knows? Who knows?
But you
Micah's
don't have to
coming
take my word for it.
back. Yeah, right.
I have been listening to the book though, Elijah.
Oh yeah. Oh, what are your thoughts on it?
Well, I accidentally forgot to put the timer on, so I missed a big chunk of it when I fell asleep last night. But so far, I mean, I like it. I mean, I can see where the show's coming from, and
Yeah.
I like that Geordie's in it.
Yeah, you see, this is good to talk about, or a good moment to talk about that, because we're currently, for those of you unaware, there is a novel right now that has been released about a week or so ago called The Last Best Hope. Star Trek Picard, The Last Best Hope by Una McCormick. And it takes place before the events of the series that we are currently watching. I am about 10 chapters in now on the audiobook, and I felt like it started off strong, and I'm kind of curious where it's going, and we're not going to go into it now, but we do hope to do a review for it once we've read the book and we can put our thoughts together on it. But regardless, it's not a bad book, and I encourage you to check it out. We'll have links in our show notes. Again, the book is Star Trek Picard, The Last Best Hope by Una McCormick. All right, super out.
Oh, is that me?
Yeah,
That's Tony.
That's me. Well, captains, that's all the news we have to trek out this week. Now let's find out what happened in the world of Star Trek gaming.
Cool. Everybody hit stamp.
Did.
Are we doing game print?
Oh yeah, we gotta do game print. Tony, you haven't received any 3D. You haven't bought any 3D models, right? Or have you?
I have not from the game print. I think I exported one just to try the service, but I didn't purchase it.
So this one's just 2A_EP449 _ game print. Oh, the thing's there. Oops, my bad. All right. This will be short and sweet.
Do I need to sync into?
Yeah, you might as well offer
Okay.
some commentary. All right, I'm gonna hit the big red
It's
button.
a spaceship.
Oh, wait,
No,
hold on.
I'm still exporting. I'm
Oh,
still
never
exporting.
mind. Sorry, my bad.
I'm like, me too.
Yeah, AJ, don't worry. We'll be talking about them in Stone News. We, some of us have no will.
Me.
So-
Kat and I have to raise our hands.
All of us. All of us.
All of us. Yes.
Did you guys? You bought it.
Well, I went on record ahead of time as saying I was planning on it.
Oh, I blame
It's
Steve.
the others that.
Am I the only one with an ounce of willpower in this group?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Because
I
I
was-
totally gave in.
Don't lie. You're gonna buy it next week.
I was close.
No,
on-
I'm not. I hemmed and I hawed. I finally came down on. We'll talk about it in the next thing.
All right.
Save it for the show. Save it for the show.
Save it for the
Save
show.
it for the show.
Okay.
You guys are all weak. So weak.
Yo, let me tell you something. That
Absolutely.
That Savi's hot.
The Warship Voyager's hot.
That Crossfield.
Savi. That Savi's hot. That
The
Savi
Crossfield
behaves.
is a pretty good looking ship, actually. I
It
hate
is.
Discovery, but the update's not bad.
I'm telling you, that
the update's
Savi,
alright.
that Savi behaves like a battle cruiser now.
Yeah,
I
you
got that
messaged
Savi.
me, but then why do I need to switch out of my battle cruiser, which I already love?
Because immersion.
This one's new.
Is immersion.
No, I love the Sovereign. If I could fly, I wish that the Sovereign had been my forever ship kind of thing.
Save it for the show.
You're right.
Save it for the show.
All right, you guys ready?
I'm all exported.
Yes.
I'm going to hit the big red button in 3, 2, 1. This is Elijah. Game print sync 1.
This is Kat. Game print sync 2.
This is Tony. Game print sync 3.
This is Skippy. Game print sync 4.
All right. Game print in 3, 2. Captains, before we move on with the show, we do need to take a moment to thank our sponsor for this episode, Game Print. the company that allows you to 3D print a customizable starship just for you. Yeah, sure. You can get a cookie cutter mold from other locations, plastic toys, die cast models. That may be the case, but imagine showcasing your very own starship in whatever configuration you could imagine. Well, with some limitations, of course, because it is through Star Trek Online. But don't worry about that. You don't have to be a Star Trek Online player to take advantage of ordering and owning your very own unique starship. All you have to do is visit gameprint.net and explore their remarkable library of already uploaded ships from other players. You can sort by class, by species, by faction, and marvel at some of the amazing models that are already available to you. And if you do play Star Trek Online and you have a favorite ship, just visit your ship tailor and upload a 3D model. Then you can take advantage of a very special Star Trek Online 10th anniversary sale happening at GamePrint right now. No code necessary. You can earn 20% off of 9 and 7-inch ships. You can earn 20% off 9 and 7-inch ships, 15% off of 4 and 5-inch ships, and 20% off plaques. I said percent on all those, right?
Yes.
I didn't say dollars, right? Okay.
No, you said percent.
And 20% off plaques as well. So, maybe you didn't purchase the legendary ship bundle from Star Trek Online because you've been saving your money for something else more exciting from the Star Trek multiverse. This could be that moment for you to get your own customizable ship. Yeah, that's fine. We'll leave it as that is. Again, that's gameprint.net, and we thank them for their support of Priority One. Everybody hit stop, or just clear your deck.
I'm like, yeah, do we have to do anything?
Yeah,
I
you
didn't say
didn't.
anything.
Go, Elijah! You're doing great. Your extemporaneous speaking skills are unmatched.
Yeah. I did it.
Hey, Winters. Winters says hello, Tony.
Oh, hello, Tom.
Well.
Hello, Winters.
Mr. Winters. Mr. McDonald. Top of the whatever it is to you.
The
I guess it is
rent
morning
due.
there.
It's 1 o'clock on a Wednesday.
It's got to be like, I think it's 1 o'clock in the morning where he is. Go to bed, man.
The regular crowd shuffles in.
Oh, hey, there's Duncan, Idaho. How's it going?
What up, Duncan? And I'm going to throw the link to Patreon over there. That's Mixed Dimensions. That's their entire library.
I uploaded one of my ships up there. I just never got it printed.
I'm actually curious. Oh, look, somebody already uploaded the new KDF ship. The KDF Alliance ship.
Oh, nice.
That looks
I
pretty
looked
good.
at doing the new crossfield, and it wasn't available yet.
Oh.
I'm hoping they add that.
Did you
It's
upload it? Or...
That's got to be weird with the spinny thing in the middle.
No, I won't let you export it from the game.
Oh, well.
Yeah, they probably got to figure something out with the disconnected rings or whatever.
The hole in the
Yeah.
I would, if I were to do another ship, I think I would do the Alliance ship.
It's a pretty nice looking ship.
It is a good looking ship. It really is.
Rubs me the wrong way.
What's that?
I see what they're doing. The new ship. It just rubs me the wrong way.
Oh.
I see what they did. I mean, they did a good job
like it.
executing it, but I just don't like that. I just don't like it.
I like it.
I've been noticing in chat it's very divisive.
It's,
it doesn't offend me or anything. But
it doesn't perform well. I got it today, and I put the exact same loadout that I have on the Arbiter, but because you lose or Fleet Avenger, but because you lose a console slot and the turn rate is not as immediate, it's okay, but it wasn't like, wow. I went through a few patrols to get it to tier 5, and that was it. And then I switched back to my legendary Savi.
Save it for the show. Save it for the next segment. We're almost there. We're almost there.
All right, then, you guys ready? Since you guys didn't have to export anything. All right, I'm gonna hit the big
because we're
red
just
button.
sitting here waiting for you. Yeah.
I'm gonna hit the big red button in 3, 2, 1. This is Elijah. Stow News Sync 1.
This is Kat, Star Trek Online News, Sync 2.
This is Tony, Stow News, Sync 3.
This is Skiffy, Stow News, Sync 4.
All right, Tony takes the first part of Stow News. Stow News in 3, 2.
Arc Games has announced a new feature aimed at making life easier for its players who use Steam for their gaming. Previously, in order to play Star Trek Online or Neverwinter through Steam, a player would have to navigate multiple layers of login screens. First, you had to log into Steam. Then, you had to log into an Arc account to get into the game. Starting February 18th for new users and expanding to all users by February 20th, Steam users will be able to link their Steam account to their Arc account. After launching the game and providing your Arc account credentials, the accounts will be automatically linked. Once the process is complete, players will only need to authenticate. Once the process is complete, players will only need to authenticate to Steam to get into either Star Trek Online or Neverwinter.
I'm sorry. What problem is this solving? Because I don't have Arc on my computer. I only have Steam. And I launch the game using a Star Trek Online icon on my desktop. And then I log in like I've logged in for the last 10 years. So
You're a pirate. You're a end arounder. You're bucking the system.
Pirate hooker?
I don't understand
Something like
what
that.
what are you talking what?
It's a line from Anchorman.
No. I don't understand what you're getting at. Why would that be going around the system in some way?
This goes back to when Arc first came out. That's Perfect World's preferred method of you launching. They wanted to have their launcher live on your desktop so you can have access to all their games. You can still have an independent Star Trek Online only launcher, but only if you sort of cheat the system a little bit.
No, that's not
true.
That's
No,
not true
it's
because
not?
Steam does not install the Arc client by default.
Right.
If you install from Steam, it gives you the old experience of not needing Arc at all. You can go straight to the Stow launcher.
Right. So so I guess according to Cairo in the chat, by launching it through the icon that Steam created, I won't have to log in at all now. Now that because I am logged in through Steam because it's always running in the background on my desktop, I will no longer see a login screen. Is that what this is about? Is that what this is going to do?
My understanding of this is very limited, but what I teased out of this article is, you won't have to type your password anymore in the launcher, in the Star Trek Online launcher.
That's okay. Yeah, it looks like people in the chat are saying that's what it would do. It would just launch the game directly without me having to log in with my Arc credentials through.
I think you'll still have to click the engage button.
Yeah,
because it'll still have to patch and check it'll still have to validate that your files are the same version of files that the server expects you to have.
I see. All right. I mean,
okay. So the Arc. Now I'm really confused. So the Arc system still is completely cut out of this.
Correct.
Because I'm not logging into my Arc account. So I log into my Star Trek Online launcher.
Your two official options of how to launch the game, official options, is have Steam and go to the game client, or have Arc, which takes you to the game client. So Arc and Steam do not have to both be installed at the same time. They could be, but they don't have to be. They replace each other.
Okay, so if you have Arc and Steam installed, this is how you are going to see it from now on. You just have Steam installed, we're thinking you just skip to the engage button. But if you're like me and are a terrible person, you neither launch Star Trek Online through Steam nor the Arc client and have an old school launcher on your desktop from the olden times.
I mean, Steam,
which you can still get.
Right, you can still get, and Steam still behaves like the old classic launcher. The only difference now is that when you link, you will if Steam is running in the background and you launch Star Trek Online from your Steam library, you will no longer be prompted to enter your credentials to log into Star Trek Online's systems. You'll just see an engage button.
Yeah.
So,
I also want to point out that the way Tony is launching it, you can accomplish that today by installing the Steam copy of the game and going into Steam's folder where it stores Star Trek Online and just moving that folder out of Steam.
Right,
and then you can launch the game directly without Steam or anything.
So, all right, I guess this is solving an issue that I don't see why necessarily this was an issue. Honestly, the bigger issue I see is with bonus payouts for things like Zen that you don't get when you use Steam funds. So this last weekend, there was a Zen bonus sale. And obviously it was timed accordingly with the sale of the Mega Bundle. And one of the reasons that I almost didn't get it was because a Steam account didn't get the full bonus payout that you would if you paid with PayPal or a credit card, which I don't know, I think is poo-poo. I don't know why I wouldn't, if you're going to allow the game to run through Steam, then why not give the Steam players the same bonus by purchasing Steam cards? And then what's even more wackadoo for me is that you don't get the bonus with ARC cards, with ARC prepaid cards. So you can go to Best Buy and pick up Perfect World or ARC cards. They're now ARC. The branding changed. And you can buy, $10, $15, the same as you would with Steam. You go to your Best Buy or Target or wherever gift cards are sold, and you can buy those funds. However, Steam doesn't get the full bonus, and ARC prepaid cards don't get any bonus at all. At all. So you go to Target, you pick up a $20 ARC card, you don't get that bonus that you would if you paid through PayPal or through or by paying with a credit card.
It's all about taking a little piece off the top. Game cards. You worked in retail for a long time, like I did. Spiffs, remember the Spiffs. So it's a piece that comes right off the top, depending on who's doing the reselling. If you're doing credit card processing, the credit card company is going to take a per item charge and then a percentage off the top, and then pass the rest of the money along to the vendor, along to Cryptic or Perfect World. So, but when you sell game cards, that money, there's a piece that goes to the credit card company for buying the game card, and then there's a piece that goes to the vendor that actually sold the game card, and then whatever's left over then goes to the game company. So, they're not going to offer the bonus when so much of the cash is being skimmed off the top via the middleman. So that's why. Yeah.
I think that's exactly right. I think the way we need to be looking at this is when you get the promo Zen by buying directly from the ARC website, you get the bonus promotional Zen and you get the other bonus Zen. There's two bonuses. One's permanent, one's promotional, limited time. That is their way of making up for the fact that they didn't have to pay to put those cards in stores, or they don't have to give a percentage of their money to Steam for hosting it on Steam.
Yep. Well, it doesn't matter because it didn't stop me the way I thought it was going to.
Nothing stopped you people.
Yeah, didn't stop me either. Stupid charge bonus.
Yes, it was the charge bonus. I had filed my taxes, and
there's the shiny candy-like button, the red button.
And the absolute fear of FOMO. I do suffer from that quite significantly.
Oh, I fully did. I blame Z.
And I blame everybody around me. And you know what? I blame some of the Benedict Arnolds out there who were like, I'm not buying this either. And then
that's me.
And then all of a sudden, everybody's like, wow, this bundle. Oh, I got the bundle.
Everyone caves.
Everyone caved.
I fully did. Number one hypocrite. I was like, that bundle, no way am I buying that. Bye.
Yep. Yes, goodbye. And
So I'm curious, Elijah, which bundle did you buy?
I am not going to discuss which one I bought. Let's just say I finally got my domino console.
We should skip down 2 lines and just use this as a natural segue to just go ahead and go to the next.
Yes. No.
thing.
Yeah. No. So,
Yeah.
what?
Oh, we're not gonna-
We should skip the Abraham Lincoln costume
What?
and then
No.
Yeah. We're gonna talk about it later.
Jump right,
No, we're
just
gonna
from
talk about it
Well, no,
later.
we'll talk about it later. Just change the order because you're already into it now.
Yeah,
you
I
can't
know, I
stop
did that on
yourself.
purpose.
Just like not buying.
I was
you have to
already
buy
doing
You
it,
have
and
to
you
talk about
just
it now.
totally ruined the flow. You totally ruined the flow, Tony.
No,
I was
it's your
already
fault.
talking about
It's
the. I was
your
already
fault.
talking about the bundle.
You should have moved the copy
I'm
from
gonna
where it
need
is to where
more
it should be.
Unbelievable.
Oh
All
my
right.
lord.
Hey guys, we should talk
Professional.
about the bundle.
I quit.
All right.
Are we talking about the bundle?
Yes. We're gonna talk about the bundle. All right.
Because
So-
you guys can't contain yourselves.
Getting
You can't
more-
wait for 2 more segments. You can't do it. You
So-
have to push the button to
Wait,
buy it.
Kat, where are
and
you
have
going?
to
We're gonna talk about
it
the
now.
bundle.
What?
Yeah, right now.
I need more wine.
All right. Hurry up. All right. Go.
You know what the
She
bundle
needs more wine,
reminded
talk
me
about
of?
the bundle.
The bundle reminded me of the Matrix Online. Drink.
No, it did not. It did not. All right. So, okay. Sorry, audio editor. Cat needed wine.
Don't be sorry. It's comedy gold.
The chat is freaking out. We are not going to skip the Lincoln costume. We're just
We're
going to
not-
come back
we're
to
not.
it.
No,
gonna
no,
skip
we're gonna
the
move
Lincoln
it. We're gonna
Council.
move it down. Yeah, no. This is. I mean, I think we did maybe once in the pregame show, and then once before. It's like wait to talk about the bundle. Wait to talk about the bundle. We gotta wait. Save it for the show. They just can't do it. They can't stop themselves. They can't help themselves. They must speak of the bundle. The bundle
All right.
speaks
Okay,
to them.
Cat's back.
darn
All right,
millennials.
all right.
I'm
We're-
back
We're
with
back to
wine.
the edit. Okay. So, 3 out of the 4 of us here tonight got the bundle, and I think that it is certainly worth talking a little bit about it. My first impressions are that I finally have a sovereign that behaves quite similarly to the Fleet Arbiter, the Fleet Avenger. The Fleet Battlecruiser. I particularly like the Battlecruiser because not only is it tanky, but it also delivers a significant amount of damage. So that I never felt and never feel as though I'm sluggish and weak and squishy. But I love the Sovereign. It's one of my favorite Star Trek ships. Hands down, my favorite. When I first started playing the game 10 years ago, that was one of the first ships I started playing with. And then I had to switch out of it because it just wasn't my game style. But now I've set up the Legendary Sovereign in a way that behaves very similarly to the Fleet Avenger. It's not as nimble, but the difference is negligible. The difference really is negligible. So, I haven't gone through all the other ships. I did get the mastery for the Kelvin battlecruiser, but I didn't like it. It's not my style of ship. I'm not a fan of the Kelvin Enterprise ships. It's too curvy for me. It's like bubbly.
And it's the
almost
update
bubbly.
too. The update's not as good as the original.
Yeah. So yes, I still have quite a bit of exploring to do with these ships. Kat, what are your first impressions on the bundle?
All right. So I was full on not gonna do it, not gonna buy it. But a couple of things changed my mind, and not that a bunch of other people were getting the bundle, but the fact that when you level up those ships to tier 6, those tier 6 traits are unlockable, that opens across your account. So account unlock for those traits pretty much changed my mind. And then I saw the update for the crossfield and I pushed buy at that point.
And you generally fly a science officer? Is that your...
Yeah, I'd go to science, yes. And I do love this crossfield. But some of these traits that get unlocked at tier 6 are amazing. And so even though it is 10 ships, but you still get the trait, unlocked across your account. So you can have those traits on your KDF or Romulan, KDF ROMs or your Jem'Hadar if you play those. But specifically, the trait from the Ross Command Exploration Cruiser, Make It So, is amazing. It adds, improved healing and damage for each of your bridge officer ability ranks. So anyway, you can look up the stats, but that trait is fantastic. And also,
so you're getting into traits, and that's something that I wanted to spend time talking about, right? And I want to make a point to bring it to everyone's attention. Is that sometimes, and even here on the show, we'll talk about a ship that comes out, and we just kind of go over the stats, and then we forget about it. And in my case as a player, there are ships that have come and gone that I didn't get. Particularly event ships, right? And then I find out later that, oh my god, the event ship actually wasn't crap, but in fact everybody's running this console or everybody's using this trait. So Kat, before the show, you and I were talking, and I had asked you to try to put together some of these things, some of the items in the bundle that you found to be maybe not must-haves, but would be nice to have and should have if you want to get the most out of your gameplay. So you've already mentioned one.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not a min-maxer by any means. I sometimes, I'm not into builds, but I do love space magic and I love playing science characters. And the trait for the crossfield is the temporal anchor, which does something magical to your gravity well, and oh man, does it is it's so nice. So yeah, if you're into that at all, I highly recommend that. And I have somewhat buyer's remorse about the bundle, but not really, because of the account-wide unlocks that you got for the traits.
Now, the account-wide unlocks for these ships and their traits, right? You're getting an account-wide unlock for the trait. Right. In other words, all you have to do is on one character get it to tier 6 mastery, yes, and it unlocks for all your alts. That is not the case for any other ship?
Only the Jem'Hadar ships had those tier 6 traits as well. So this is like a new thing. New-ish thing. New-ish.
Yeah, so if it works the same way, I haven't checked this myself, but if it works the same way the Jem'Hadar ships work, when you claim a Jem'Hadar ship on a non-Jem'Hadar character after having leveled it up, you don't have to unlock tier 6 again. That is already unlocked for you, but you do still have to run it through ranks 1 through 5.
Correct, yeah. Just like other ship, if you're going to get it on another character, you still have to level it up to get the trait, but if you've unlocked tier 6, you get that trait automatically.
Now, I'm on Stowe Wiki, and the trait temporal anchor that you mentioned, which is the tier 6 mastery starship trait for the crossfield in the legendary bundle. Does that depend, or is that influenced by your captain traits? So for instance, when you are leveling up your captain, there is in your skills the ability for you to put points towards exotic damage and hold. Do we know if temporal anchor is affected by that?
I would assume so. If you boosted those skills, that it would probably help. I'm not for positive. I have not tested that. I'd have to ask Z. He knows all that kind of stuff.
Any other kind of must-haves that you yourself have thought are good or have heard from the fleet?
I think that the trait from the NX and the Defiant are also, leading favorites at the moment. But yeah, I haven't made it through all the ships yet, and I know only a few people that have. So it will probably take some time before like the really, really good ones start getting, understood as what you need to have. But I do feel hypocritical somewhat about it, but yeah, I'm glad I got it.
I do too. Skiffy, you got it.
And there was no doubt Skiffy was going to get this.
All right. Skiffy, you two have purchased the Legendary Bundle. What are your thoughts on it?
Indeed. Well, I went on record ahead of time saying I was planning on purchasing it, and I did. The bonus Zen was just that. It was a nice bonus. I have leveled 2 ships, one being the temporal operative, the new Discovery, as well as the miracle worker, the warship Voyager. I haven't made it through the other ones yet. I did suffer from choice fatigue, where after buying the pack, I had no idea which ship I wanted to start with. I just sat there going, I want to fly them all right now. One thing I can mention is that the multi-mission Voyager ship is very, very maneuverable. Probably one of the more maneuverable science vessels out there. And I'm hearing, I haven't outfitted this myself, but I'm hearing it's really, it can be outfitted to be one of the fastest ships in sector space. So if you happen to be one of those people that likes to run the Tour of the Galaxy event, I'm thinking this is a good one for that. But yeah, I mean, it's a good pack. It's a great pack. I am looking, you guys were talking about traits. I am looking on a KDF tune right now, and I do not see the Starship Mastery unlock for these legendary ships available to me. So Temporal Anchor is not listed in the account Starship Traits store. So I'm not sure if that's an oversight or if that's intentional.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't tried to claim it on a KDF, actually.
You can't claim the ship. But yeah, the trait, if it's like other ships that are exclusive to Federation, you should be able to get just a trait box. And I'm not seeing that for any for the 2 I've unlocked so far.
Huh. That must be an oversight.
I would think so.
It's not in your trait, like the ones that are already available to you?
No, I didn't. Let me double check. But no, I did not see it there either.
Oh yeah, because everyone's saying check your trait list. I actually.
Oh yes, I'm sorry. It is automatically in my trait list.
Oh, there you go.
All right,
so you don't have to read
thank you, chat.
Box.
So whoever is editing this, cancel all that out, please. Well, captains,
would you like to hear from the one person that was able to control himself?
Sure.
Should we hear from that person?
Well,
the one who's been staring at us with a judgy face this entire time.
Judgy face the whole time.
For the sake of editing.
Shaking his head.
All right, Tony. Now, you're the only one who didn't purchase it and take advantage of the Zen sale because, unfortunately,
the only one with a lick.
Unfortunately, captains, as of the time of this recording, the Zen sale is over. It ended on February 17th. So if you buy this out, you can still take advantage of the bundle discount that's currently happening, but if you don't have the Zen, you'll be paying full price for Zen. Now, Tony,
it is a sad and unfortunate truth. Well, the only person with some impulse control among this little group here, I strongly considered buying it, and there's only one justification that I could figure in my head for it, and that was the fact that you could get a tier 6 Constitution without trusting the random number generator gods. So you could get a tier 6 Constitution and put the motion picture skin on it, which is my holy grail, and know how much you're going to pay for it, not have to worry about opening boxes. So, but even with that, I couldn't do it. It just didn't seem like I wasn't going to use those other ships enough, and I wasn't going to level them all up. There's a lot of good ships in there, but that if there's people out there who are looking for a sort of use case for it, like justify why you'd spend this money. If you still want a tier 6 Connie and you want to put the motion picture skin on it, there you go. You know how much money you'd have to spend to get that accomplished. So
but
everybody who wants the Connie.
That's not the only ship that benefits from that point. Like the Discovery ship.
It's the only one I care about. It's the only one I care about.
Well, if that's fair, but there's what, 4 or 5 ships that are in that same situation where you're by buying the pack, you're bypassing the RNG.
Yeah. So and that I think justifies the higher price point, right? A lot of people were like, "Oh, break it up out of the bundle, sell the ships individually." No, that'll never happen, because what they're doing is they are providing an alternative to spending $250 on keys and maybe not getting the ship you want. Here, you're going to spend, a little less than $200 at this point with the sale going on, and you can have the tier 6 ship that you had your heart set on. Now, I guess not that exact version, but this is maybe even a better one. And you can put a variety of skins on it. You can put whatever skin on you want. So I think this is the business case and the angle that Cryptic was going after here, is that they've listened to the community, maybe not in the way you'd hoped, but they made a business decision that this is close enough to the revenue that we get from the lock boxes and the R&D packs that we can offer this as an option to people who are willing to pay that higher price.
And that's precisely why I was planning to buy it ahead of time. I'll support the C-Store wholeheartedly because I prefer that method of transaction over the Lobby store and the lockbox mechanics. And I'm kind of hoping that this is a sign of how things are going to go in the future, that they retire those mechanics and focus more on adding things to the C-Store.
Never. But I do think that the way of the future is find a way to alternatively monetize that. Because if at some point in the future they are forced to retire it because of legislation or whatever, it's gambling or whatnot, they want to have an alternative in place so that the revenue stream doesn't necessarily evaporate. So I think it's smart of them to offer these alternatives, and I think this first experiment, if it's successful, will be cloned. We'll see more of these things in the future.
Can we also talk about, there was a flag in the description of the bundle that says this is available for a limited time only. This can only be claimed once per account. Well, we knew the once per account thing, but we knew this was on sale for a limited time. At the time of this recording, it's on sale for about 20 more days, but it's also limited time availability in general.
Mm-hmm.
So it will go away at some point in the very near future and will not be an option for purchase someday down the line.
I would anticipate them alternating this with a lifetime sale. This is a good way to get Slugzo revenue. You get people to spend $200 or $300 at a time in the game. So I'd guess you'd see the lifetime sale come back, then go away, then this will come back, then go away. Again, if this is successful, they'll probably come up with something else like it and alternate that out.
Yeah, I think the countdown on the on the landing page is a bug, that it's not as much time as it says. But yeah, the sale will end, and then I think they'll take the bundle off the market as well.
That would be unprecedented, right? I don't think we've seen that before.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, Brave New World.
Well, captains, that's our next community. Well, no, we already asked that, so never mind. No community question. All right. Well,
costumes.
Yeah. Well, that's what we've got to talk about regarding the bundle this week. I'm sure that since those of us with lesser wherewithal to avoid the
That's right. Low willpower. Weak wills.
We'll have more of an opportunity to explore all the goodies in the bundles and talk more about it in the coming weeks. But remember that the sale on the bundles are for a limited time. So you can get the introductory bundle at about 20,000 Zen. And you can get the legendary premium bundle at about 29,300 Zen. And that sale will end on March 3rd. Wait. No. And when's that sale going to end?
27th.
And that sale will end on February 27th. Moving on, there are other goodies that are available for free.
That for me.
That's for you.
Okay. For a brief time this past week, Star Trek Online was giving away a new cross-faction costume based on its 10th anniversary celebrations. From February 13th to February 17th, all players were able to claim the Emancipator costume. As seen in-game on the 16th President of the United States, this costume gives player... Wait a minute. Oh. As seen in-game on the 16th President of the United States, this costume gives players...
Did you not... You take it from February, because I think your previous sentence didn't sound like an end.
Oh. From February 13th to February 17th, all players were able to claim the Emancipator costume. As seen in-game on the 16th President of the United States, this costume gives players tailor options for the long coat, bow tie, and top hat mini. The top hat... Oh, I just said that. All right, well, hold on. Let me read that again. As seen in-game on the 16th President of the United States, this costume gives player tailor options for the long coat, bow tie, and top hat. The top hat came in two varieties, a full-size hat and a mini hat placed at a jaunty angle. As you'd expect from such a costume giveaway, players have already embraced the Space Barbie potential. From dapper top-hatted Gorn to brightly colored circus ringmasters to jaunty-looking Borg drones. Wait a minute. Did we say jaunty more than once?
I was going to raise an objection to the overuse of the word jaunty.
Yeah.
How about whimsical? Whimsical, maybe.
Okay,
That's my suggestion.
How about Mad Hatter looking?
Sure.
But is it Mad Hatter? Did they put a little sign in there? Is it oversized?
It doesn't have a sign. Okay, all right.
Whoa, Tony, the Alice in Wonderland purist here. Jeez.
I know.
That's
okay, there's
right.
not a sign.
Off with all your heads. That's what I say.
Whimsical? Is that what we're going?
Whimsical, yes.
All right. From dapper top-hatted Gorn to brightly colored circus ringmasters to whimsical-looking Borg drones, it seems like hats and tails are everywhere right now.
This week...
Nothing like it.
Go ahead.
Oh, never mind.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna make noise. You just keep
all right.
going. We're already at like 30 minutes.
You're right. This week saw a number of Moving on to patch notes, this week saw a number of system improvements appear in the weekly patch notes for PC players. The ship vendor UI was updated to provide additional details on effects of ship scaling on ship statistics, as well as a new indicator for any current ship mastery process. Similarly, the player dry dock UI now displays whether you've completed a docked ship's mastery. The development team has also opened up the Kelvin Timeline Constitution starship to use all standard Federation bridges.
Yay.
So Tony.
All right. If you remember late last year, Hero Collector announced two upcoming ship models based on Star Trek Online, the Gagarin-class Federation battlecruiser and the Chimera-class Federation heavy destroyer. Well, StarTrek.com and Hero Collector have officially announced that these new ships will become available in May. Each ship will be priced at $22.95 American, and if you haven't added STO to your ship collection already, these ships are a great chance to get started. Or you can hop over to GamePrint to take advantage of our 20% discount code and add almost any ship in the game to your model collection. I didn't like the way I said model. Or you can hop over to GamePrint to take advantage of our 20% discount code and add almost any ship in the game to your model collection.
We don't have it. Or you can have
then you can just cut that entire sentence, and it doesn't matter how I pronounce model because it just
or you can hop over to
matter.
GamePrint and take advantage of their 10th anniversary.
So it does matter how I say model. I feel vindicated. Or you can hop over to GamePrint to take advantage of their 10th anniversary discount code and add almost any ship in the game to your model collection.
A month-long Star Trek Timelines mega event began on February 6th and will carry on
actually,
through...
You know what? Let's say in other gaming news.
Oh. In other Star Trek gaming news, a month-long Star Trek Timelines mega event began on February 6th and will carry on through the week of February 27th. The event introduces new characters for retired Admiral Picard and Cadet Picard. Wait a minute. The event introduces new characters for retired Admiral Picard and Cadet Picard, as well as new variants of many existing crew characters. A special recurrent threshold reward will be the new Picard and Number 1 crew. The Forever as One event brings the Borg front and center in the game, with a rogue Borg element introduced, looking to bring back Locutus of Borg.
Hey, Joe, you're welcome to join the team and help us write all of our stuff if you want to help us out, make sure that, we're covering everything properly. Moving on to events in Star Trek Online.
Captains on consoles won't have to wait long. Captains on consoles won't have long to wait. Captains on consoles won't have long to wait before they can join in the 10th anniversary celebrations. Ambassador Kale announced in a news blog this week that the anniversary event and Stowe Legacy release is scheduled to hit consoles on March 3rd. The event and mission rewards are the same as those we've previously described for the PC event release. The big prize, of course, is the Tier 6 Kittimer class Alliance battlecruiser, which can be claimed for 20 days of event progress before March 31st.
Do we have any Armada? Is this updated Armada news or?
I did not update the Armada news, but
All right,
I do have like a little bit I can say.
Yeah.
This week in Armada news, we are getting ready to make the move to Discord. The fans and members have spoken. So, the poll was up, TeamSpeak versus Discord, and Discord won by an overwhelming majority. So we will be moving to Discord. So keep an eye out, if you are an Armada member, for instructions on how to make the switch.
Well, it's time for this week's top tip.
This is mine. In an effort to lend a hand to new players or even surprise the most veteran captains in Star Trek Online, here's our top tip. If you want to do the daily Omega event minigame as fast as you can without all that sector space travel, here's a tip to get you through. To begin, use the event UI itself to instantly transwarp you to Q's location on Earth Space Dock or Kronos. After Q assigns you 3 random space or ground locations to scan Omega particles, use more free transwarps to get you there faster. Just take a few minutes to pick up some game missions that begin in the systems where the Omega particles appear. Then, when a location appears in your Mega event list, you can use the mission hailing UI to transwarp immediately to that system. Just remember to leave the mission right away so it's not removed from your active mission list. Here are a few of the systems you can reach this way and which episode or optional mission arc that will get you there. Starbase 39 from the Vault in the Romulan Mystery arc, Vulcan from Diplomatic Orders in the Klingon War arc, Drozana Station from Spin the Wheel in the Spectres optional mission arc, Defera from Cove Call in the Cold War optional mission arc, Bajor in Jabberwocky in the Cardassian Struggle arc, and DS9 from Renegade's Regret in the New Frontiers arc. Once the Omega event is over, you can just drop the missions to clean them up from your UI.
Okay. Tony.
I'll do it. That's it for this week in gaming news. Now let's look on screen for the 4th episode of Star Trek Picard, entitled
Yeah, that's fine.
Absolute Candor. I was gonna do it, man.
I know.
And then you were like,
wait,
Tony.
My bad.
You had a vowel movement.
My...
Oh my God, that's so funny.
That's it for this week in gaming news. Now let's look on screen for the 4th episode of Star Trek Picard, entitled Absolute Candor.
Everybody hit stop. A vowel movement. Alrighty then.
Alrighty then.
And now on screen. File new audio file.
I honestly can't believe you bought the pack, Elijah.
Shut up. I can't believe it.
I really can't.
I can.
I can't believe it either.
Charging bonus. Charging bonus.
I should have gone
The FOMO.
There was the FOMO. I should have gotten myself.
It was the FOMO.
I should have gotten myself a curved screen instead.
So much regret. Well, you got your VR headset. You don't need anything else in that. Yeah, see, you're good. Who needs a curved screen?
It's hot. I've had it for a moment.
That's true.
But I had a dead pixel, and I had to return.
I've been eyeing the 49, but they don't make them in 2160p yet. The the double 27-inch wide. I really want one of those, but I want it in 4K.
All right, let me know when you guys are ready.
I am exported.
Same here.
Okay, you good?
No, one moment.
Don't forget, captains, we are in fact looking for people to join the team, specifically audio editors, someone to help us out on some social media stuff. So hit us up, incoming at PriorityOnePodcast.com. Or if you have some extra funds and you've thought about supporting Priority One, we do have a Patreon page. That's patreon.com/PriorityOne. And we have several tiers available to you. Probably the most popular one is our $10 a month tier, which includes an entirely separate podcast that is unedited, unscripted, called After Hours. And we usually take a topic that we might have covered or discussed or a whole new topic and dive deep into those. And it gets quite colorful. So if you want to laugh, that's definitely the show to have.
By that time, Elijah's had at least 2. I don't know how many Cat's had. How many have you had by that point, Cat?
You know, if you guys are moving over to Discord, I wonder if there's a way that we can just merge while still maintaining, because we also have a Discord benefit where we have a channel dedicated to our patrons. So if you want to get our attention fast and quick, without having to email, and you're already on Discord, at just $5, we have the option of the perk of joining us on our Discord channel. So you could join our Discord channel at $5 a month, and you can chat with us throughout the week. We talk about all things Star Trek, of course, and we are careful of spoilers, so don't worry about us spoiling Picard for you or anything like that. So check us out over at patreon.com because it's not free to run a podcast, unfortunately, and we can always use your support. You guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm going to hit the big red button in 3, 2, 1. This is Elijah on screen, sync 1.
This is Kat on screen, sync 2.
This is Tony on screen, sync 3.
This is Skippy on screen, sync 4.
On screen in 3, 2. Computer, set Star Trek Picard Episode 4. The end is... No. Set Star Trek Picard. Bleh. Computer, set Star Trek Picard Episode 4, Absolute Candor, on screen. Bloop, 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 bloop.
You'd think by now that Picard was finally ready to go on his mission to save Data's offspring Soji, but nope. We need to make another stop on Tatooine, Vashti, to pick up some muscle. Elnor, the Wishap Legolas, Kawat Milat warrior, is the only guy in the all-woman sect of Romulan nuns sworn to protect those in need. Meanwhile, on the Borg artifact, Soji is still trying to discover the mystery of the last Romulan ship to be assimilated by the Borg. More importantly, she's struggling to find herself in the grand scheme of things. Will Picard finally bring together the Fellowship of the Synth? 7 of 9 lose her copy of Katiskat when her ship was destroyed? Sorry, okay, hold on. That was good. Will Picard finally bring together the Fellowship of the Synth? Did 7 of 9 lose her copy of Katiskat when her ship was destroyed? How much more sexually awkward will Narek and Rizzo's relationship be? Right?
Tune in next week, and the week after that, and the one after that.
All right. So first of all, were there any big Easter eggs in this episode? I didn't notice anything. Any like callbacks to old episodes of TNG or previous episodes of Star Trek?
Yeah, 7 of 9 showed up.
Yes, that is true. That is true.
That's not a callback or a touchstone.
Picard's like 7 of 9?
Yeah, they like pointed that out with like big flashing signs and arrows and stuff. Yeah, spot the orange cat. That's the only one I saw.
Nothing that stuck out to me other than elaborating on the theme of the emergency medical hologram plus the navigational hologram and the tactical hologram. I didn't know they had all these, holograms that came with your ship.
Yeah, this one was a lot of. Yeah, well, I mean, this episode was a lot of. We need to tell you a lot of things that we made up for the series, so there wasn't a lot of room for callbacks.
I've got a question. So, synths are off limits because of the events that happened on Utopia Planitia Mars.
Right.
Why are holograms not subject to the same fear that synths are instilling in the Federation community?
I mean, I would imagine that holograms are limited to whatever holographic array they're on. So they cannot manifest themselves anywhere. You have to have a holographic array. Like Voyager was thinking about installing them until the Doctor got his mobile emitter. So, yeah, my guess is that that's one of the reasons why they're not as much of a threat. Whereas the synth lives in physical space and can go anywhere it wants.
And shoot you with that crazy laser gun thing.
Yes. Can we have that in Star Trek Online, please? Let that be the new monster.
That thing would be cool.
BAMF. Let that be the new BAMF. So, I didn't not like the episode, but I'm starting to get a little bored of this crew building. I'm pretty sure it's taking longer on Picard to get his crew together than it did for the Council at Rivendell to put together the Fellowship of the Ring. I'm pretty sure.
They had one meeting. They had
one meeting. They had one meeting. And that was a 9-hour epic, right? That was 9 hours of film, and it hit the ground running with a fellowship, with a group of people.
Yeah, so I mean, if you want to use that as an example, I mean, Lord of the Rings is 9 hours long, and the Fellowship of the Ring was about 3 hours long, and halfway through the first movie, they were like on the mission, right?
Right. So
that's a sixth of the way. By comparison, we are 40% of the way through Star Trek Picard now. So 16% of the Fellowship of the Ring versus 40% Star Trek Picard, and we still haven't got the whole band together yet.
But Fellowship of the Ring cut out a whole lot of walking, like weeks and weeks of walking.
I'm just talking screen time.
Right.
Screen time.
Right.
Yeah. So this is, when Picard first started airing, I compared it to the Magnificent Seven. I was talking to my wife. It's the Magnificent Seven, right? You start with the team. And you start with the team building. That's an important part of the show. But they eventually have to go to the little Mexican village to learn about the bad guys. Eventually they got to get there.
That's what season 2 is for.
Yeah.
Don't you dare.
Yeah, so I'm not I didn't love the episode, but I also don't think it was bad, right? Like it still did what it was supposed to do and delivered with great dialogue, with good action. Although I am feeling like the overall arc is dragging, the episode didn't drag, right? And I can only really compare it to Discovery, right? Because Discovery is the most recent Star Trek show in our recent history. I felt that Discovery dragged, right? And that some episodes just didn't make any sense in the grand scheme of things. I'm thinking about the Harry Mudd episode, for instance, the timey-wimey one. That just everything came to a screeching halt. I'm not feeling that from Picard, and particularly this episode, even though we're still building together the motley crew of the team. This backstory and this, honestly, it's Picard building. It's not really even about the other cast. because there are
Which is a problem.
nuances. I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, it's a
but-
problem.
Well, they just introduced 7. I think it's going to be the Picard and 7 show.
So, but my
Halfway through the season?
Well, my point is that there was a scene on Vashti where Elnor brings Picard, adult Elnor brings Picard some bread, and Picard just kind of like an old man, get off my lawn, go away kind of thing, shrugs him off, and then Elnor throws down the tray, and these are nuances of Picard that really depart from what we have seen him as in TNG and the films, right? He is really selfish. He really is a selfish old man now. And
real soon they need to work on that Irumodic syndrome thing.
Yes.
Like, they need to start paying that off right now, because Picard in any other era would not have decided, hey, I've got 7 minutes till my ride gets here. Time to start a race brawl. Let me just go over here and knock down this sign and
Ew,
just really
I saw that. He's like,
scab.
7 minutes. I'm gonna walk across the sign and throw down.
Yeah.
Do this.
They can fix this if real fast now they start paying off the whole Irumodic syndrome thing, like the beginning of the next episode, which would be a great callback to All Good Things, where people start to go, old man's crazy. Old man has no idea what he's doing. We're not sure what's going on with this whole thing. He's taking us. We engage and we go off on our grand adventure. Oh, but we have to do a detour. I forgot something back at the shop. I mean, unless they start paying off the Irumodic syndrome thing here real fast, it's the character Picard, like you're saying. He's old and he's selfish. And why are you doing this? And why are people letting you?
Regarding the team building, I have to think the team is built at this point. I feel like 7 was the headliner in the team that needed to be added, and now that she's there, they're not going to add some unheard of people after that.
No, hang on. We're not done, because they haven't done the 7 of 9 backstory and why are you here, and now I have to convince you to go on my quest. So we're not done yet. We have to get through episode 5 to have that bit.
Well, her ship blew up. She doesn't have a choice but to go on the quest.
No, they can just drop her off at the Vashti. They just have to give it 30 minutes and let her beam down to the bar where Picard just and Picard's friend just chopped people.
Let her assimilate everybody and be on her way.
Yeah. Like, you want to go with it? You want to drop us off here? We'll drop you off here.
So is Romulan blood less green than Vulcan blood? Because that was weird, right? I thought that was the same.
I didn't pay attention to that.
Well, then he kind of set off. It was like not as green as like other. Am I the only one who noticed?
No. You're right. You're
because it was
you're
like
right.
yellow green, right? It was weird.
Yeah, it was snot. They used, that's what it was. It looked like snot.
I'm gonna call it that, but it's just a different.
It was viscous. It was sticky, and it didn't flow. It just sort of like stuck there. It was
weird.
snot.
Now, I will say this about the Picard novel that is out now that I mentioned during our Trek It Out segment. And
yeah, I feel like it's coloring my analysis now that I've got some backstory.
Yes.
And we should talk about that too.
Yeah, it's definitely. But the thing about it is that, first of all, I'm not done. I'm on chapter 10. Second of all, I don't want to spoil it for anybody. But up until I'm at a point now in the novel that Picard has moved the. Keep forgetting their name. I'm at a point now in the novel where Picard has relocated the Kuat Milat. So you get the introduction in the novel, you get the introduction to Zani, who's played by Amira Vaughn, and you get the introduction to Elnor. You get a little more history there. You see why Zani is important to Picard and why he shows her so much respect. That kind of world building seems to be happening in the novel without necessarily the risk of it being retconned on screen, hopefully, right? Because I really hate the idea of wasting my time reading this novel and then having them retcon it at the end of this, in a few episodes after the book is out. They did that with Star Trek Discovery's first novel, Desperate Hours. So if you want a different view of Picard, or if you want to enhance your perspective, pick it up. Last Best Hope, Una McCormick.
I have a problem with people making television or movies that you need to go consult the footnotes for.
Well, you don't have to. No, you don't, though. You really don't have to. You don't have to read the novel. I'm just saying that like Kat said, it influences your perspective on it, right? It kind of colors your opinion.
Well, and it's like, oh, okay, Rafi can call him JL. It's fine.
All right.
They've been through stuff.
So the other thing we made fun of was that brother-sister relationship between Narek and Rizzo. Yeah. That is just I
said Game of Thronesy. Come on, we already had Jamie and Cersei. We don't need Narek and Rizzo.
Yeah,
This is setting up the fact when what's his face finally turns on his sister. He's finally going to be creeped out by his sister and like, you can't do that to me. That's illegal in 9 systems. You can't do that. And then he's going to, betray her and let the robot girl go. They're just setting that up. Yeah. That's all that is. It's super creepy, and I think the wrong way to do it. Why can't it's the Star Trek, right? He needs to have a principled reason why this is a bad idea and why synths are real people and all. They're gonna, not my sister's creepy and I don't want her to touch me that way anymore. That's no. This is Star Trek. I expect a little better.
What do we think about the slip and slide scene?
The only way that makes sense is if that guy's a humongous liar and Soji decides, okay, fine, lie to me. That is the only way that makes any sense whatsoever.
Oh,
Borg ritual that nobody knows about. Yeah. Right.
No,
it's the Third Dynasty.
No,
the Borg Third Dynasty.
He was kidding about it being a Borg ritual. He was just being.
I took that as being a joke. Yeah,
he was being quote unquote cute
but he's
as
not
cute
funny.
as a wish-act version of funny. Spock can be.
Yeah, that's just weird. It's just weird. I don't know.
Yeah, it didn't hit. And the thing, Jonathan Frakes is a very good Star Trek director. I think he's a good director, period. He's one of the best Star Trek directors. And if Frakes can't make that guy funny, he's just not funny. Yeah. And so, I mean, it didn't hit me as that was a joke right away. And then he kind of doubled down on it. That's what he wants you to think. But it didn't come off as, haha, wink, wink, funny joke. It came off as like, oh, I'm a secret Romulan spy. That's what they want you to think. Like, wait, no. Make me believe that was a joke, and it just didn't hit.
And also, were they in socks? It wasn't bare feet, right? They're just sliding around in their socks. Is that the slip and slide?
I guess they were. I hope so.
Well,
highly polished floor.
Yeah, I'm like, that didn't make. I'm like, wait a minute. There's like a super secret slippery Borg floor right here.
Yeah, it's the nanites. They're everywhere.
No.
Somebody spilled the nanites.
No, it is. Here's what's happening. Consuela from Family Guy had just gone through that hall. And
Mr. Superman, no here.
No, no more lemon pledge. No more lemon pledge. Because she used it all on the floor.
Oh no!
I'm the only one who can make that joke.
You can only you can make that joke. I don't know. Can the rest of us even laugh at that? Is that allowed?
No.
I feel really bad about myself.
No, do not laugh about. Do not laugh. At that joke.
No laughing. No laughing.
But
no more lemon pledge. No, Mr.
They're
Borg,
in their
no
socks. Then they're in their socks, sliding around on the floor. That's a good way to get a splinter.
A Borg splinter. A Borg nanite splinter.
You're gonna have a nanite infection. You're gonna need some fungal cream for that. You're gonna have to
analgesic.
Take some stuff out.
Fortunately, I know a ship that has a whole bunch of EMHs that can help out.
So, all right. Speaking of EMHs, the episode ends with a big space battle around a planet that has a shield whose passcode is 12345, but nobody bothered to try it. And
that didn't make any sense at all either.
And so, we have the introduction of 7 of 9, but we also have yet another EMH who is of Latino descent in some way, shape, or form. Whether he's Chilean, we think he's Chilean, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel about these EMHs.
He's not Chilean. He's just programmed that way.
I feel like these EMHs are pulling away and taking away from the character of Rios. Yeah, sure, it's letting the actor flex his muscles to portray different styles and characters and dialects and accents. Yes, great. But I don't really care about these EMHs. I want to know about Rio. I want to know about Rios.
I think it's kind of disturbing, though. Like, why's he got all these EMHs that look like him? Isn't that, like, weird?
I don't know. When I look at it, and I'm sure I'm stretching here, but I feel like it's really lessening the idea that he is a Latino character. We can't make him too Latino. We're gonna have to find a way to dilute this. Oh, let's have other versions of him in different accents and dialogues and in different accents and dialects, so that we're not in your face Latino character, a captain who is not yielding to Picard. I don't know.
Let me offer a different perspective, Elijah. Let me offer the perspective that there is no one good way to portray someone of Latino descent, right? They can be an interior decorator who's quiet and barely has a trace of an accent. They can be a guy with long, crazy hair that speaks in really, really heavily accented Spanish. They can be, the medical doctor who sort of rolls his eyes at the silliness of his captain. There's no one good way to do it.
I don't know.
You're grasping at straws. I thought I'd grasp with you. I don't know.
No, I don't know.
I feel like
I
they're
like the
just
gimmick.
trying to show that he's like a emotionally damaged guy because he only keeps himself for company and different versions of himself with weird accents.
Well,
hides behind them.
Well,
right,
okay,
exactly.
all right, then, and that's fine. Why aren't we building on Rios? Why did we have a whole episode on?
Because he's brooding and chomping on
elves?
cigars.
But we had a whole episode on space elves, and
Yes.
and Wish app Legolas.
I like
It's all
Kmart
these Wish
Legolas
app.
better.
It's all these Wish apps. It's the Wish app.
Yeah,
Those
I like
pictures
Kmart
are
Legolas better.
great.
And I don't know. Why aren't we getting to know Rios? Why aren't we spending more time with him? Like,
I think he's probably like we've got some time with him. We know like something crazy happened with his prior crew, that his captain that got his brains splattered all over him, and that he's self-torturing and hates himself, and he hates all those holograms.
We haven't gotten there yet. At some point, they will give us his backstory, and they'll dish it out to us as an entire episode, probably right after a huge cliffhanger where they want to suspend the main story for a while.
Yeah, with his captain, that's a top secret. You can't talk about it because no one's heard of it.
right.
Flashback heavy. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. All that
I mean,
stuff.
at the same token, we still haven't really seen a legitimate backstory to Rafi, right? And she's another, she's
No, you
got
got to read the books for that.
Yeah, that's
right. You do. You actually do have to read the books for that.
So we're not going to get one unless you want to read the book. That's my problem with these things. They skip all that. If you want to know about Rafi, go read the book.
And Cap Wit, it's not that I don't understand it. I think that you're missing my point. Is that for the first time, I'm watching Star Trek, and there's somebody like me on the screen. Not a caricature, not a facsimile, not a tertiary character or somebody who gets killed in the episode, but a light-skinned Latino or Hispanic that hasn't been given, that I think hasn't been given the proper writing yet. So my verdict
None
is
of them have.
My verdict, well...
Girardi. Tell me about Girardi. What's she like? What's her thing? We don't know. We don't know what she's goofy and she's goofy.
But I think that you see that one I think is setting up for, and this was something that I think it was
setting
Shane.
up for.
No. Well, hold on a second. But that's why I'm. With respect to Girardi, I think that's a setup for can she be trusted? I think it was Shane who brought this up last week, where she, what was her conversation with Commodore O, right? So that's number one. But number two is, again, my verdict is still, and I don't know how many times I can say this so that everybody can hear me. My verdict is still out on Rios. I'm not ready to make a final judgment call on him because I don't think we've been given the opportunity to get to know him. Me being Latino, for the first time, there is a Latino captain in a major role of a major Star Trek show. Not a tertiary character, not somebody who dies. And right now, it's feeling homogenized, and it's feeling like he's being watered down. And I really hope that the rest of the season doesn't continue to feed into that, but that we do see more of him, and we do give him an opportunity to be a character.
It's almost as if we had wished they'd gotten this team building exercise out of the way in the second episode and started working on the problems and the people. It's almost as if we wish that had happened.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All I heard is that Elijah is our emergency podcasting hologram.
Emergency Latino podcasting hologram. Coño, será posible. So that's where I am. I mean, again, I didn't hate the episode, but it definitely slowed down. And I'm tired of this fellowship.
Literally took a detour.
It did.
Literally took a detour.
I felt it from the beginning. The pacing on this show is very off, very strange.
I don't mind it. I mean, I feel like when we look back on this, we'll be like, oh, yeah, that was good. That was good. I mean, I always in hindsight it. Yeah.
If it were a binge, this would be fine. If they released it all as one big block, it would be just fine. Because this is the trap that a lot of shows fall into when you binge them. My go-to example is The Expanse. I recommend The Expanse to a lot of people. And if they make it through the first 4 or 5 episodes, they're hooked. But if they if they can't get into it, if it's slow, because they're building the world, right? Mm-hmm. If they can't get through the first 3 or 4 episodes, they're done. So if they had this, if Picard was a binge, this would be fine. The pacing is fine for a binge. It's not good week to week.
Almost every single Apple TV Plus series has that same trap too. You got to get through the first 4, and if you make it that far, yeah, you're good. You're golden. The story starts to pick up.
Well, I mean,
we
are. I mean, so hopefully next week the story picks up.
I don't want to talk too much about it. All right. Well, Captain Zap. Oh no, that's not a question. So something about. All right. Let's wrap up. Okay, so I take the next one. Kat, why don't you say that wraps up?
That wraps up this week's On Screen for Star Trek Picard. Now let's open hailing frequencies and see what's incoming.
All right, everybody hit stop. I really have to use the bathroom, so let's take a break.
Okay. Should we make good radio?
No, I'm going to just give us a little... I'm going to take us off air.
Musical interlude.
Interlude, yes.
51 message from Starfleet coming in on secured channel.
That's the part that I don't like.
Yeah, I see that.
Hello, captains, we're back. Thanks for waiting.
We were having a very good discussion.
Yeah,
You
I was realizing as you were talking that we probably should have talked about that during after hours, but whatever.
Well, we can talk
Yeah,
about
we should
it
have
again.
saved it for the show.
We can
That's
do
okay.
it for after hours.
We can do whatever we want. We have our own show. It tells us what to do.
All right.
Right.
Oh, I didn't save this.
We're not running into the other podcasts, are we?
No. Mission log is now on Mondays.
Oh, okay.
And we can do whatever we want. We got our own show, right?
Well, we used to have to be done by 9:30, so...
Right.
All right. So, I think I closed feedback accidentally.
I did that too.
All right.
Elijah, they're saying turn down music. Have you already done that?
Music.
Yeah.
He had a musical interlude going.
We should be on just the bridge sound.
Okay. Oh, okay. Confirmation. It says he did. All right. Perfect.
All right. I'm going to hit the big red button for feedback in 3, 2, 1. This is Elijah. Feedback sync 1.
This is Cat. Feedback sync 2.
This is Tony. Feedback sync 3.
This is Skiffy. Feedback sync 4.
Feedback in 3, 2. Well, captains, hailing frequencies are now open, and we're ready to receive all of your incoming messages.
Of all our social media engagements this week, captains had the most to say when we asked, did you take advantage of Star Trek Online Zen and C-Store sales to purchase the legendary Starship bundle? What ships, consoles, or traits are your favorites?
From Facebook, Mike Warrens writes in and says, bought the standard bundle on day one as I didn't really feel the need for the extra fluff of the premium. I think of them all, I'm actually digging the Constitution Miracle Worker flight deck carrier because seeing enemies engulfed in swarms of tactical flyer squadrons is oddly satisfying. Traits, preferential targeting, supercharged weapons, and black alert. Consoles, mycelium ambush, and weaponized helical torsion. There's some recommendations for you guys.
On Twitter, our very own Priority 1 Jace writes in, I came close but wound up just using existing Zen to buy the Tier 6 Defiant, Arbiter, and Gamor. I don't really play alts and mostly cared about the legendary Defiant, so it didn't make enough sense to me. The Defiant trait and Best Diplomat trait, once patched, has potential, I think.
From Facebook, Bruce Burdett writes, I'm not buying the bundle. I only want a few of the ships. If they were sold as singles, I would have bought some, but otherwise, no.
I still think that, I mean, they obviously sold several of these bundles, right? There are people who might have at first that, were like, no, I'm not doing it, and then ended up doing it. And
they're weak.
Yeah, shut up, Tony.
Definitely weak. As I drink
some
my
people
way.
can admit it. That's right. They drink to it. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
It's okay.
I'm still not
okay.
ready. But look, I'm happy in my Sovereign. But I really hope that they do release these in some form other than a $150 and $220 bundle.
It makes no sense for them to do it. It makes zero business sense for them to do it any other way besides this. Okay, we're done. From Twitter, Preston Hamill comes in and says, easy choice for my alt account as it's down on ships. For my main account, it was a struggle, but I decided I want enough. For my main account, it was a struggle, but I decided I wanted enough of it to grab it. Unfortunately, I've not been able to do much with it, but so far I like having advanced phasers freely but so far I like having advanced phasers freely claimable from the Disco Connie itself.
I've been using the sensor-linked phasers. Anybody?
Those are good.
Are these advanced phasers better?
No, they got nerfed.
Oh.
I went to the trouble of collecting a bunch of sensor-linked phasers for one of my ships a long time ago, so I think they're the best.
I don't like that they look like cannon phasers because it's
I dig it.
pew. But because I don't know, my immersion, I'm used to seeing the beams, the arc of beams.
I want them red, like Star Trek 2.
Yeah, man. Well, anyway. On Twitter, Preston Hamill writes in, easy choice for my alt, as it's down on ships. For my main account...
We just read that one.
Oh,
That's the one I just read.
From Twitter, Pax Federatica writes in, I was on the fence when it was announced, but did finally break down and get the bundle. Though I do have plans for other ships in the bundle too. The Command Dreadnought alone made me glad I did.
I want to say we had a chance to play with Jace for a while the other day, and he made a comment that really resonated with me, which is it's really nice to go into system and sector space now and see a whole bunch of classic Star Trek ships flying around, as opposed to the usually overwhelming number of alien ships we get. So it really brought Star Trek back to its core, and it does show that they're selling a metric ton of these.
We also asked for your thoughts on the latest Star Trek. In a minute.
On last week's.
Yeah. We also asked for your thoughts on last week's Star. Wait a minute. It's like I can't ad lib. We also asked for your thoughts on last week's episode of Star Trek Picard, and you had this to say. From PriorityOnePodcast.com, Choyo Miku says, it goes without saying, the TNG at the end of the episode is what made me tingle with chills up my spine. It is so great to see the beginning of a new crew with that TNG flair, even though we're only a few years away from taking the captain's chair ourselves in Star Trek Online. And for those who saw the episode this week, let me just say, as a Voyager fan, I geeked out at the ending. Me too. Maybe got a little verklempt.
All right, everybody hit stop. And save. All right. Closing, and we're done for the night, except for after hours.
Closing,
Except
and
for
we're not
that-
done for the
Except
night.
that we're not.
That whole other thing that we have to do.
We're 7/8, approximately 5/7 way through the 40% mark.
60% of the time. It works every
It works
time.
every time.
It's .com.
It's .com.
It's .com.
All right, you guys ready? Let me know.
Ready?
Ready, strong, bad.
The email. I'm gonna do feedback. once.
Email. Open up
I'm
email.
just gonna. I'm gonna open up feedback with that. All right. Okay,
I
ready?
was raised by a pack of wolves.
I thought it was dolphins.
Is it dolphins? It might be. I don't remember.
was raised by a pack of dolphins.
Okay, I'm ready.
I'm gonna hit the big red button in 3, 2, 1. This is Elijah closing sync 1.
This is Kat closing sync 2.
This is Tony closing sync 3, even though I don't think I have any lines.
This is Skiffy. I also don't have any lines. Closing time.
No, you got one.
Oh, I do.
Oh,
What?
Well, no.
Yeah. You got
That's
two.
news to me. Sync 4.
All right.
This is Tony talking until Elijah finishes typing
Closing in
things.
3, 2.
Closing time.
Well, that wraps up episode 449 of Priority One, a Roddenberry Star Trek podcast. But there are more great shows available to you on the Roddenberry Podcast Network. Just visit podcasts.roddenberry.com for a complete list. Then be sure to subscribe to them all using our brand new master feed. Links, of course, will be in the show notes.
But we can't forget to send a special thanks to some of our Patreon supporters like Diana Gunther, Darnell Dwayne Ross, David K. Rutley, Joshua Selig, and Peter Archibald.
Those are not the community questions. And of course, we do need to remind you of our community questions this week. First up, who is your favorite? Oh. But of course, we do need to remind you of our community questions this week because we want to hear from you. Who is your favorite Star Trek Picard character thus far, and why? I think that was it, right? We didn't have any in Stone News. Yeah, no.
I thought we did. Like, favorite. Oh, no.
But you killed the second question because it was the same as the first.
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
All right.
So I'll go now?
Yep.
Okay. Captains, it's important to us that you get your voice heard and that you participate in the conversation. Leave us a comment on our website at PriorityOnePodcast.com, on our Facebook page at Facebook.com/PriorityOnePodcast, or find us on Twitter and Instagram at PriorityOnePod.
Don't miss a thing from the Star Trek multiverse. Catch our episodes every Friday. Just open your favorite podcast app and do a search for Roddenberry. There you'll find us and our friends on the Roddenberry Podcast Network.
And if you're still craving more, be sure to spend time with Winters and me and the rest of the Priority One Armada. Saturday nights, the Armada broadcasts live to review the latest news from Star Trek Online and the Armada community, including spotlighting some of our amazing members. With regular giveaways, there's something for all Star Trek Online players, whether you are new or a veteran. Follow us on all our social media accounts for broadcast times. And if you'd like to join the Armada, visit PriorityOneArmada.com.
This episode of Priority One is brought to you by our community patrons through Patreon.com. Find out more and add your support at Patreon.com/Priority One. Even if you can't make a financial contribution, the other way you can help support the show is by spreading the word about it. Invite your fellow Trekkies to get their weekly roundup of Star Trek news right here. It's your support that keeps us going.
Don't forget to tune in to Priority One Productions' Guard Frequency podcast at guardfrequency.com. Each episode, the Guard will take you inside the universe of your favorite space sims, including a tabletop adventure played out by your hosts. And Heroes Rise brings you up to date with the world of Dungeons & Dragons. Learn all about the latest publications, tools, tips, tricks, and traps in less time than it takes to skin a wyvern. Head over to heroesrisepodcast.com to discover their secrets.
Thanks to our audio editors, including Gray, William, Brandon, Rand, Daniel, Roscoe, and our chief engineer, Skiffy. Thanks to our producer, Jake Morgan, for assisting in the weekly production of this podcast, with support from associate producer Shane Hoover, who helps us organize and write up our summary of the weekly headlines from the Star Trek multiverse. Thanks to our graphic artist, Henry Pomper, with support from Jason Smith of the Priority One Armada. Thanks to the composer of our theme music, Chris Watts. But most importantly, a big thanks to you, the Star Trek community, our listeners, because without your ongoing support, none of this would be possible. Everybody hit stop.
Please do not hit stop yet.
Oh, shit, I hit stop.
Okay. I was going to say we need to record the end tag, so we can just do that as a separate file. The red alert, shields up, ready weapons.
I think we still have Tony's old ones, don't we?
Yeah, let's just record a new one. Enough time has passed, right?
Yeah.
I have a gravelier, deeper, more sonorous voice now.
So
really, it's a treat to listen to now.
Okay. Yeah, let's just do it now. So what is this?
Or wait till I export this and get a new .st.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Captains. We can do it all fair. All right, Captains. Thank you so very much for joining us on this live broadcast recording of episode 449 of Priority One. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already on places like YouTube, if you're watching us on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, hit that like button on our page. And also follow us so you can get notifications when we do post community questions and news and events, things like that. Be sure to follow us. So again, thank you to everyone who joined us tonight on Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope. It's always a pleasure chatting with you guys and keeping us on our toes in the chat. So until next week, remember, we are now going live at 9 p.m. Eastern. So we'll be back again next week at 9 Eastern. Say goodnight, everybody.
Bye.
Good night. Good night, everyone.
Fly it, print it, display it. Break the mold and 3D print a one-of-a-kind starship. Your starship. With mixed dimensions. Right now, Priority 1 listeners can save 20% on all ships and sizes. Just use coupon code PRIORITY20. That's PRIORITY20 at checkout. Build your fleet and display it proudly.